viewers, welcome back to English B Honeysuckle Unit 9. We will discuss a new lesson, desert animals. For our convenience, we have divided the story into 3 parts, part 1, part 2 and part 3. Today we will discuss part 1. As always, here are a few points for you to note. A brief introduction to the story, reading of the paragraphs to be discussed, explanations of keywords and phrases, comprehension questions with answers, and summary of the paragraphs discussed. Now, a brief introduction to the story. The lesson, Desert Animals, throws light upon the life of animals in the desert, how they adapt themselves to the weather, and the various strange methods they adopt to cope up with its harsh conditions. Reading of the first paragraph. Deserts are the driest places on earth and sometimes go for months or even years without rain. But even the desert animals cannot survive without water or for long periods in the scorching sun. So they have had to find different ways of coping with the harsh conditions. For example, jabils spend the hottest part of the day in cool underground burrows, and strange insects called darkling beetles are experts at catching drops of moisture on their legs, then lifting them into the air until the drops trickle down into their mouths. Not all deserts are endless seas of rolling sand dunes. Some are rocky or pebbly and dotted with small bushes, while others are sprinkled with colorful flowers during the spring. The keywords and phrases that we have come across in this paragraph are survive, coping with, jabils, trickle down, sand dunes, pebbly, sprinkled. Let us explain them. Survive. It means remain alive. Coping with, it means managing with or grappling with. Jabils, it means mouse-like animals living in the desert, often kept as pets. Trickle down, it means flow in a very thin stream or drop continuously. Sand dunes, it means heaps of wind-blown sand. Pebbly, it means full of stones or pebbles. Sprinkled, it means scattered with. questions with answers to comprehend the paragraph just read out. 1. Why have the desert animals to find various ways of adapting themselves to the harsh conditions? As deserts are the driest places on earth because of scanty rainfall, the animals there have to find various ways of adapting themselves to the harsh conditions. 2. How do jackals fight with the scorching heat of the day? Jackals spend the part of the day in underground burrows that are relatively cool. 3. Describe the strange way the duckling beetles catch drops of moisture to drink. The duckling beetles catch the drops of moisture on their legs, lift their legs into the air, and wait for the drops to trickle down into their mouth. 4. Explain endless seas of rolling sand dunes. It means heaps of sand formed by the wind in the vast body of sand that are changing always. The summary of the paragraph just discussed. Deserts are the places with scanty water, as there is almost no rain for months together. And animals that live here have to live without water for a long span of time, especially during hot days of summer. Naturally, they find their own alternate ways to fight with such difficult conditions of the atmosphere here. Jackals go underground during hot days in their cool burrows, and duckling beetles use a strange way to beat the heat. They drag drops of moisture from their legs, lift them in the air, and let the drops trickle into their mouth. All deserts are not the same mounds of sand everywhere. Some are stony with small bushy plants, while others have colorful flowers during the spring. Now, let us read the second paragraph. There are more than 2,300 different kinds of snakes around the world, ranging from just 15 centimeters long to more than 11 meters. Most snakes are quite harmless, but there are a few that are so poisonous they can kill a human being with just one bite. Most snakes lay eggs, but there are many which give birth to their young. In the dry, rocky deserts of America lives a rather evil-looking snake with a very bad reputation. Its frightening rattle can be heard as far as 30 meters away, and it can strike with lightning speed. Key words and phrases that we have come across in this paragraph are ranging from poisonous, evil-looking, bad reputation, frightening rattle, and lightning speed. Let us explain them. Ranging from, it means varying from. Poisonous, it means venomous or deadly. Evil looking, it means frightening in appearance. Bad reputation, it means a widespread belief that is bad. Frightening rattle, it means scaringly sharp knocking sound. Lightning speed, it means in a flash. Here is a set of short questions to comprehend the idea contained in the paragraph. 1. What is this paragraph about? This paragraph is about snakes. 2. How deadly are the most of the poisonous snakes in the desert? They are so deadly that one bite is enough to kill a human being. 3. Where does the evil-looking snake live? The evil-looking snake lives in the dry, rocky deserts of America. 4. Which snake can strike its victim with lightning speed? The rattlesnake can strike its victim with lightning speed. The summary of the paragraph just discussed. There are about 2300 types of snakes ranging from just 15 centimeters to more than 11 meters. Most of them are entirely harmless, but there are a few ones that are so poisonous that their one bite is enough to kill anyone. Most of them lay eggs to reproduce, but there are many yet that give birth to their young ones. An evil-looking snake with a very bad reputation lives in American deserts that are dry and rocky. Its sharp sound can be heard even from a distance of 30 meters. It can strike its victim swiftly. Let us read the third paragraph. But the rattlesnake, or rattler as it is sometimes called, prefers to avoid people if it possibly can. It holds its tail upright and rattles the end whenever it is disturbed, in the hope that the intruder will go away. However, if its warnings are ignored and it feels threatened, it will coil ready to bite. But the rattler itself cannot hear the noise its own tail makes. Like most snakes, it hears things through vibrations in the ground. If a person walks nearby, the snake can feel the movement. But if the same person were to shout, it would not hear a thing. Rattlesnakes are very common and widespread animals, living right across the American continent from Canada to Argentina. They feed on a variety of prey including mice, voles, rats, chipmunks, and many other small animals. Rattlesnakes kill their prey with venom. Like all snakes, they swallow the unfortunate animals whole. Few snakes have to eat more than once a week, and some, such as the larger pythons, can survive for a year or more without eating. Explanations of keywords and phrases. Intruder, a person entering an area illegally. Frightening, it means that makes anybody feel afraid. Voles, it means a small mouse-like animal or small plant-eating rodents. Chipmunks means small ground squirrels with light and dark stripes. Coil, it means turn, make a spiral or wind into a spiral. Vibration, it means a continuous shaking movement or feeling. Venom, it means poisonous toxin. Comprehension questions with answers. 1. How is a rattlesnake by nature? By nature, a rattlesnake is shy and tries to avoid any disturbance. 2. The rattler holds its tail upright and rattles the end. Why does it do so? It does so to warn the intruder. 3. What is interesting about its rattle? The interesting thing about its rattle is that it cannot hear its own rattle. 4. Name the snake that can survive for a long period, for as long as a year without eating. The snake that can survive for a long period, for as long as a year without eating, is the python. Summary of the paragraph. The rattler or rattlesnake prefers to avoid people as much as it can. When disturbed, it holds its tail upright and gives a sharp sound to warn the intruder to move away. But if its warnings go in vain and it feels threatened, it will turn around to bite the victim. Strangely enough, it cannot hear the sound its tail makes. Like most snakes, it also hears through the shaking movement on the ground but cannot hear the sound. It can feel the movement of a walking person but cannot hear his shout. Rattlesnakes are commonly found in the American continent from Canada to Argentina. The choice of prey includes small animals like mice, voles, rats, etc. They use poisonous toxin in their body to kill their prey and gulp down the animals completely. Some snakes eat more than once a week, and some, like large pythons, can survive for a long period without eating. This much is for today. We will be back with the second part of the story in the next class.